Hello everybody, what's going on, and welcome to my very bizarre redirect video for Let's Watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean. Also, Merry Christmas. Hi everybody. I'm putting this up on Christmas Day. I was planning on putting it up earlier, but here it is now. Anyways, if you would like to watch me watch these 12 episodes of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean, episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Feel free to go in the description and click on the Dailymotion, Bitchute, or Google Drive links. I will warn you, the Dailymotion links are few and far, because boy, Dailymotion does not like me putting up this series. I believe 3 episodes got through the uploading process, and every other episode got blocked immediately. So, just a warning. If you tend to watch things on Dailymotion, that's probably not gonna go too well this time. Although I would recommend Bitchute, as that usually works pretty well in my experience. But Google Drive is good too, if it's an option for you at the time of watching this. It may not be. I have to take them down over time, yada yada yada. But with all that said, what's up everybody? I'm not going to talk too long about these episodes, mainly because A, I talk about them plenty in the actual episodes, and B, I'm very tired. I'm recording this at 2 a.m. But before I go on and on about recording this at 2 a.m. I do want to quickly talk about these episodes a little bit though, because it was really interesting to watch back all of my episodes. It was interesting. If you have seen my previous JoJo part reactions, which I have up on my channel in their own playlist, I believe it's literally called Let's Watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and it's like a playlist of all of the archives. You would know that I watched part 4 and 5 relatively blind. I watched them as they were airing. And part 4, I knew bits and pieces about, but I didn't know everything about it. And part 5, I read the manga, so I knew what to expect, but I was still pleasantly surprised at stuff happening, because I don't quite recall the part 5 manga as well as I thought I did. What was interesting was part 6 was the first part that I thought I remembered very clearly. I thought I remembered part 6 perfectly. I really did. And throughout these 12 episodes, you'll slowly see me going from, ooh, this scene, oh, I love this scene, it's so good, and oh, guys, you're gonna love it. And you'll slowly see me start to realize I don't remember as much as I thought I did. It's an interesting thing. My cat is currently, scratching on a box, which is very cool. Anyways, this is unbelievable. My cat has currently bitten into a box and is tearing it apart. Very cool. Anyways, but yeah, the gradual, lack of confidence in, ooh, I love this part, I know every part of it, and then me gradually going, wait, did they change this? Wait, was this always how it was? Was that new? What's happening? Is, pretty embarrassing, I want to say, because I really thought I remembered Stone Ocean like the back of my hand, and I clearly did not. Mind you, I mainly think I remember the later half of Stone Ocean, so I'll give myself a bit of leeway. A lot of this first, third or half of Stone Ocean really blends together in my mind, partially because I read it so... I read this first part of Stone Ocean in, 2-3 days, and then I read the rest, gradually over time. So, this first part's a bit of a blur, and if that bothers you at all, I apologize. It was strange, because I didn't even realize I was having that happen until I got to, episode 7, I think, and then I stopped recording, and then I edited those episodes, and then I got back to, episode 8, and then I watched the rest. But since I had, edited 1 through 7, I rewatched all of those, and I was like, oh wow, I am insufferable at certain parts of this because I'm so confident that I know what happens, and then I realize I don't at all, and it's like, Jesus, I'm so stupid. But anyways, with all that said, I think this is still a pretty fun watch, in my opinion. It's pretty interesting, and I definitely cannot wait for the rest of Stone Ocean to air. What the heck, cat? But yeah, I have a lot to say, and I think I do say a lot in these episodes, although not as much as I probably want to say. So I'll say a little bit more here, just to fill a wee bit more time. Also to give the thumbnail time to transition over from parts 1 through 6 to now 7 through 12. But anyways, yeah, I think I mainly want to come out of this talking a little bit about Stone Ocean, so I recommend you watch all of these episodes now, if you want to, and then you can come back, because I'm about to talk about spoilers and things like that. Especially since I've had so much time to think about these episodes over this past month, because I think I watched all of these on, like, the 5th of December, and now I'm putting it up on the 25th, so I've had plenty of time to think about it. With that said, I doubt I'll be the most coherent I've ever been, considering it's 2 a.m., but I do want to quickly talk about it. So, JoJo Stone Ocean was really interesting when I read the manga. I came out of it kind of like, okay, this is pretty cool. I don't think it's bad by any means. In fact, I think I always said it was like my 3rd or 4th favorite part, which is good. Like, that means it beats probably parts 1 and 2, and I always struggled with, does this beat part 3 for me? And I love part 3. I really, really do. And I always struggled with, like, I don't know if it's quite that good. And I think at its best, Stone Ocean could rival, like, other parts of JoJo, the best of the best. But at its worst, boy, it's at its worst. And I genuinely thought that. There is specifically, like, 1 or 2 fights throughout Stone Ocean I'm excited to watch in animated form to see if I enjoy it. Because so far, through the anime, I've enjoyed pretty much every single fight. The only fight I'm a little iffy on is Foo Fighters, and I think it's because Foo Fighters in the manga had, like, big paragraphs kind of explaining what, like, big paragraphs of, like, internal dialogue and big paragraphs on, like, plankton and just, like, random facts that I think kind of oh, excuse me, kind of in a weird way helped break up the pacing, whereas I think in the anime it's just action, 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 and there's not much time to explain what the fuck's going on. And I don't know if that stuff comes later and if I'm just putting it in the fight when in reality it wasn't in the fight. I'm not entirely sure. Or if I just missed that dialogue because I was talking over it. Once again, I'm not sure. But Foo Fighters is the only fight I've come out of kind of shrugging and going, okay, that's about how I remember it. It was okay. But even then, I think the character interactions in that fight is fantastic. But I think the main one I'm really shocked about was Jumping Jack Flash. I think that's the name of the stand fight. That's the name of the stand. It's the fight in episode 10 and 12, 10 and 11, I think. And I remember reading the manga and being so, not confused, but just bored with that fight. And that fight was definitely helped through the anime. Same with the Highway to Hell fight, which I, in the manga, thought was charming, but also weird, and not in a good way. In a, like, this is a stupid idea, and it's executed poorly, and it just kind of sucks. But in the anime, I think it's one of my favorite parts of Stone Ocean so far. I think it's really well done, and specifically the music and the voice acting for that main stand user is so off kilter and kind of weirdly charming that it really helps sell that this is meant to be a weird fight. And the fact it also feels like it goes so fast in the anime because it is a single episode, whereas I feel like in the manga it felt like a full-length like episode or a full-length like stand fight, which I don't think it was. I think it was just as long as any of the others. But for some reason, I mean, I think it's as long as the anime portrays it, so it's probably like 2 or 3 chapters. But for some reason, cat, stop. But for some reason, in my mind, I remember the manga being not long, but I remember it being as long as the Jumping Jack Flash fight, which in episode 10 and 11, that's like a 2-episode fight with all the build-up to it, whereas the Highway to Hell fight is only 1 episode, and it's so strange, because I could have sworn those were the same length, like the same amount of chapters and all that, but maybe not. Either way, I think the anime has helped this part considerably, and as much as I don't want to say criticize, but take note of things and kind of poke at Stone Ocean, I've come out of these 12 episodes of the anime very impressed with what they've done and kind of weirdly satisfied with seeing part 6 done justice, and not just done the justice I think it deserves, but done justice that I never really considered it deserving. It's interesting, and I really am excited to see more of Stone Ocean, specifically the later stuff that I'm really curious about, the stuff I'm watering at the mouth to get to. I think there's 2 more fights that I think are kind of, not filler, but they're kind of like, who cares, really, until we get to the good stuff. And even then, those 2 fights should be very charming and fun at the very least. Because I remember specifically one fight, I've mentioned it throughout the 12 episodes, the Limp Bizkit fight, is one I remember liking in the manga, but I don't remember a lot about it. I just remember liking it. So I'm curious if when it's given an anime adaptation and it's given more screen time and more focus, I guess, if that's the word that would make sense there, when it's given a proper spotlight and it isn't just one chapter of 100 or so, and it's its own episode or 2, I wonder if it'll be as good as I remember it. I'm very curious about that. But I would consider that kind of a filler-ish fight. It's not at all. It is important, but it does feel just a bit like, okay, this is happening, sure. And then there's one more fight that I'm very curious about, and it is the Dragon's Dream, I want to say is what its name is. That is a fight that I remember distinctly not enjoying a single second of in the manga, and I'm very curious how that's gonna be. But I think everything after that is good to great, so I'm really curious how many episodes the next batch will cover, if it is a batch of episodes, if it's gonna go to a weekly release order. I have a lot of curiosities about that, but we'll just have to wait and see, because I don't think there's been any info on when the next episodes will come out. So until then, we'll just have to wait. But with all that said, I think I've covered about everything I really wanted to say. One more thing, in these 12 episodes, I do also mention quite a bit how I don't want to spoil stuff. And throughout the episodes, you start to see me go from like straight up not spoiling anything to starting to talk about light spoilers. I don't plan on doing too much of that, but I will probably do it a bit more casually throughout the next batch of episodes, just because I don't think it's that big of a deal. And also, it allows me to talk more freely and not dance around things and end up not saying anything. So I think it's for the best overall if I do whatever I kind of want, but I will always give fair warning and try to say, like, mute the video for 10-20 seconds. I'm about to spoil something. But anyways, with all that said, these 12 episodes was a learning experience. I think I learned a lot on what not to do and what to do in the next episodes. Specifically, A, don't think you know everything, Shad, and B, really pay attention and really think about what they're doing and what I recall from the manga, because they are adapting Part 6 in such an interesting way, and I really like it. I don't know, there's just something that warms me about this adaptation, and I think you can see that in episode 2 when I watch the opening and I pause the episode to just kind of process it. It's so weird. Because part 4 felt like, oh, this is awesome, they're getting to the crazy stuff. And then part 5 felt like, oh, this is awesome, they're getting to the good shit. Like, when stuff starts really blowing up, and we are seeing, like, a much more current, modern JoJo era adapted into anime, and it's awesome. And then part 6 was always this part where it was the in-between from classic JoJo. Hey, don't be bad. My cat was trying to unplug my computer. Anyways, it's this kind of transitional period from part 5, which I would still consider classic JoJo, but it's evolving, and then into part 7, which is new JoJo, where we see the new writing style that Araki takes, which, by the way, I'm still reading part 7, pretty good. But yeah, like, it's that transitional period where you can see how part 7 came to be, but you still see those elements of classic JoJo weaved into part 6, and it's so weird and interesting, and it's such an interesting part that I honestly never thought would get adapted. So it's just a very surreal experience to be sitting here talking about it, and I think that's partially why I keep finding myself at a loss on what to say. On top of the fact that I'm dumb and I can't talk good, I also just don't know what to say, because it feels like anything I say doesn't really matter, because it's a miracle this even happened. You know, like what can I add to the fact that this is insane that we got part 6 animated? It almost feels like whatever I say doesn't matter, because it's here. Like, who cares? Like, this could literally be the worst adaptation ever, and I'd still just be happy it happened, because it's part 6. That's crazy. Who thought part 6 would get adapted? Not me. I mean, I'm sure some people did, but definitely not me. Anyways, with that said, I'm gonna end it here. I still have to do a couple things, specifically do the laundry, so that's fun. And then I have to go to bed. So, I'm gonna end it here. I've rambled on about JoJo long enough. This was definitely a rambling redirect. I apologize. I was planning on doing like a big professional, like, scripted one for this, because I had so much to talk about, and then I just fucking rambled. I might do a separate video where I talk about my opinions on Stone Ocean a bit more structured when I'm not up at 2 a.m., but we'll see. Either way, thank you all for watching. I'm gonna edit these redirects now and get these up ASAP. So, see you guys on the next episode of whatever comes next, and I hope the next episodes of Stone Ocean come out very soon. With that said, thank you very much, and goodbye. Whew. God, this part's so good, dude. Well, this adaptation. The openings are great. It's fantastic. Oh my god.